the future.
Voaden. Deputy Speaker, it is an honour to speak in this debate in response to the first ever budget delivered by a female Chancellor. There is no doubt the government had some really tough decisions to make after inheriting a mess caused by the reckless economic mismanagement of the previous government. But we are also still reeling from the economic disaster that the previous government pushed us into with their Brexit fantasy. Yesterday's OBR report estimates that Brexit will cost the UK 4% of GDP per year, imports and exports down by 15%. So the predicted GDP growth of 2% next year pales in comparison. And if we are serious about economic growth, we absolutely have to improve our trading relationship with Europe. And we in this House need to be brave enough to have that conversation. But back to the budget. Along with my Liberal Democrat colleagues, I'm glad the Chancellor has listened to our calls for investment and support for the NHS and has promised a cash injection to start repairing the damage done to local health services. I also welcome a £1 billion capital investment. My local hospital in Torbay has the ultimate Liberal Democrat case study of despair, with sewage leaking inside the hospital, over 700 times at the last count. Investment in rotting and broken buildings is vital and will ultimately help get our creaking country back on its feet. The lack of discussion around social care is a gaping hole, and Liberal Democrats have been calling loudly for a cross-party conversation. Free personal care could deliver annual savings for the NHS of up to £3.3 billion by 2031. Yes, it will cost money, but it's this kind of investment we need to repair our health service. In the spirit of offering constructive opposition to the new government, I would like to highlight two areas that will affect my constituency considerably. The first, agricultural property relief. Having seen the front pages, I'm sure the Chancellor is well aware of the distress and fury this has caused in rural communities like my constituency of South Devon. It is simply tin-eared to say we can't afford farmers to die tax-free. We can't afford to lose more farms. They are the backbone of our rural economy and fundamentally important for national food supply. I'd also like to raise the issue of the tax relief offered to the hospitality, leisure and tourism sector. These businesses have struggled since the pandemic to recover while carrying the burden of rising energy prices, interest rates and staff shortages. We urge the government to go further on business rate reform by fundamentally overhauling a system that is destroying our high streets and town centres. The Liberal Democrats believe that there are much fairer ways of raising the money needed rather than hitting small businesses. Our manifesto sets out our calls for a fairer tax system, including raising money by reversing the Conservatives' tax cuts on the big banks or by asking the tech companies, oil and gas companies to pay more. And they could have gone further on capital gains tax for the top 0.1%.